Maria was a single mother who had always dreamed of giving her son a better life. She lived in a small apartment at the edge of the city and worked long hours at a cafe. Life was not easy for her. Bills were always piling up, and every month she had to plan carefully to make sure there was enough money for food and rent. But Maria never complained. She believed in working hard and keeping hope alive, no matter how difficult life became. One morning, Maria was taking a short break at the cafe. Her eyes wandered over the screen of her old laptop. She loved to browse for unusual things, not just for work but also for inspiration. That day, she stumbled across an online advertisement. It was about an abandoned restaurant that was up for sale. The photos looked old, with broken chairs, dusty floors, and paint peeling from the walls. Most people would have passed it by, thinking it was worthless. But Maria felt something different. There was a strange feeling in her heart, a whisper telling her to look closer. Curiosity grew inside her. She called the number on the ad and arranged to see the restaurant. A few days later, she drove there with her son Leo. The building stood at the corner of a quiet street. The wooden sign above the door was faded, and the windows were covered in dust and grime. Maria parked her car and stepped outside. The air smelled of old wood and forgotten memories. The door creaked loudly as she pushed it open. She felt a shiver of excitement mixed with nervousness. Inside, the restaurant was dark and empty. Tables were overturned, chairs were broken, and cobwebs hung from the corners. The floor was covered in a thin layer of dust. Maria imagined how lively the restaurant must have been years ago. She could almost hear laughter and the clinking of glasses. As she walked through the main hall, she noticed a small pile of blankets in a corner. It moved slightly and Maria froze. Her heart started beating faster. There was a soft voice. "Hello? Is someone there?" Maria asked carefully. From beneath the blankets, an older man slowly lifted his head. His eyes were gentle and tired. "I didn't mean to scare anyone," he said quietly. "I have been staying here for a short time because I had no other place." Maria listened to him and felt sympathy. He was not dangerous. He was just someone who had nowhere to go. She nodded and told him it was okay, and that she would talk to him about it later. After leaving the restaurant, Maria could not stop thinking about it. The building felt different to her. She saw potential, a chance for a new beginning. She could imagine her son Leo running around helping her, smiling and laughing as they cleaned the tables and chairs. She could imagine the restaurant full of happy customers again. A small spark of hope lit inside her heart. She made a decision that night. A few days later, Maria signed the papers and became the official owner of the old restaurant. She called Leo and shared the exciting news. His eyes widened with wonder. "We can fix it, Mom." "I can help," he said eagerly. Maria smiled and hugged him. She felt a warmth she had not felt in a long time. For the first time in years, she felt that something wonderful was about to happen. Maria and Leo began working on the restaurant immediately. Each day after work, they would return and clean the place. They scrubbed walls, polished the wooden floor, and fixed chairs and tables. It was hard work, but Maria enjoyed it. She loved seeing small changes each day. The broken windows were replaced and the dusty floors began to shine. Maria began to feel proud of the restaurant. She imagined families sitting and enjoying meals, friends laughing together, and the restaurant coming alive again. One morning, as Leo was cleaning a small storage room, he shouted, "Mom, come here. You have to see this." Maria ran to him, curious. He was pointing at a large wooden chest hidden behind old boxes. It looked very old, covered in strange markings and dust. Maria's heart raced. Carefully, she knelt beside the chest and opened it. Inside, there were golden objects, sparkling jewels, and small artifacts that looked ancient. Maria and Leo stared in disbelief. There were coins with strange designs, necklaces with bright gemstones, and small golden statues. Each piece looked like it had a story to tell. Maria touched one carefully, feeling its weight and warmth. She could hardly believe that she had found something so incredible. Leo looked at her, eyes wide with excitement. "Mom, do you think this is real treasure?" he asked. Maria nodded slowly, still trying to understand what they had discovered. They decided to place the chest in a safe corner of the restaurant. Maria knew they needed help from someone who understood ancient objects. She called a historian who specialized in old treasures. The historian came the next day and looked at the chest carefully. He examined each object, holding them gently and speaking in a soft voice. After several hours, he looked up at Maria and said, "This is extraordinary. These artifacts belong to the Maya civilization. Their value could be over $1 billion. This is one of the most important discoveries in recent history. Maria could hardly believe her ears. She had bought the abandoned restaurant to start a new life, not expecting to discover something so remarkable. She realized that this treasure could change her life completely. But she also understood the responsibility that came with it. The treasure had to be kept safe, studied carefully, and shared with the right people. She could not act hastily. That night, Maria and Leo sat together in the quiet restaurant. The moonlight shone through the clean windows, casting gentle shadows on the floor. Maria held Leo's hand and whispered, "Leo, our lives are about to change in ways we cannot imagine, but we will face everything together." Leo nodded, his eyes shining. "I am ready, Mom. This is our adventure." Maria smiled. She realized that life had a way of surprising people. Sometimes when you are brave, work hard, and follow your heart, the impossible can happen. She looked at the treasure chest and felt a mix of excitement, awe, and responsibility. She knew that the real journey was only beginning. There were many mysteries to uncover and many decisions to make. But she felt ready and she felt hopeful. The next morning, Maria made a plan. She needed to contact experts to learn more about the Maya treasure, to understand its history and significance. She wanted to protect it carefully while also discovering its secrets. Leo was excited to help. He began learning about the Maya civilization, reading books and asking questions. He wanted to understand the treasure as much as his mother did. As the days passed, Maria noticed something even more special. The restaurant, once abandoned and lifeless, seemed to be alive again. Every corner, every wall, every floor was filled with possibilities. Maria imagined hosting small community events, teaching Leo how to cook, and meeting visitors who would come to see the restaurant and learn about the treasure. She felt that her life had entered a new chapter, full of hope, discovery, and adventure. Maria knew one thing clearly. She had bought the abandoned restaurant for a fresh start. But she had found something far greater. She had found hope, excitement, and a journey that would bring her closer to her son and to the mysteries of history. She looked at Leo, smiling, and felt certain that together they could handle anything. Their adventure had begun, and there was no turning back. The morning sun shone brightly over the small town, filling Maria's apartment with warmth. She woke early, her mind buzzing with thoughts about the treasure she had discovered in the restaurant. Leo was already awake, sitting at the kitchen table with a notebook, jotting down questions about the Maya civilization. Maria smiled at her son. His curiosity was as big as her excitement, and she felt proud of him. After breakfast, Maria packed the golden artifacts carefully into boxes, placing soft cloth around each piece to protect them. She wanted to take them to a museum expert who could study them safely. Leo followed her eagerly, his eyes wide with wonder. "Mom, do you think the artifacts will tell us stories?" he asked. Maria nodded. "Yes, Leo, every piece has a story. We just have to find the right people to help us understand it." They drove to the city, carrying the boxes with great care. Maria had arranged to meet Dr. Raphael, a historian and expert in ancient civilizations. He had studied Maya culture for more than 30 years and was known for his careful and respectful approach to artifacts. When they arrived, Dr. Raphael greeted them warmly. He was a tall man with gray hair and gentle eyes. "I hear you have something very special," he said with a smile. Maria nodded, opening the first box to reveal the golden coins and small statues. Dr. Raphael examined the items carefully. He held each piece in his hands, turning them to study the intricate designs. "These are authentic Maya artifacts," he said softly, almost in awe. "The craftsmanship is remarkable. Some of these objects may be more than 1,000 years old. They are very rare and very valuable, not just in terms of money, but also in history and knowledge." Maria listened carefully, feeling a mixture of pride and responsibility. She knew the treasure could change her life, but she also understood that it was important to treat it with respect. Dr. Raphael continued, explaining that some of the golden objects were ceremonial items used in important rituals. Others were symbols of Maya leaders and their achievements. "This treasure tells a story about a civilization that was advanced, creative, and wise," he said. "You have found something truly extraordinary." Leo was fascinated. He leaned closer, asking questions about the symbols on the coins and the designs on the statues. Dr. Raphael smiled and explained patiently. He showed Leo maps of the Maya region, highlighting cities and temples. He described how the Maya people used mathematics, astronomy, and art in ways that were far ahead of their time. Leo listened carefully, imagining the people who had created the treasure centuries ago. After several hours, Dr. Raphael suggested taking photographs and making careful notes about each item. He wanted to record every detail before the artifacts were returned to a safe place. Maria agreed, knowing that it was important to document everything accurately. She watched as Dr. Raphael and his assistant worked meticulously, taking measurements and writing descriptions. She felt a deep sense of respect for the history contained in the objects. When they finished, Dr. Raphael turned to Maria and Leo. "You have done something remarkable," he said. "Finding this treasure and bringing it to the right people is very responsible. It allows history to be preserved and studied properly." Maria smiled, feeling proud and relieved. She had never imagined that buying an abandoned restaurant would lead to such an amazing discovery. On the drive back to the restaurant, Maria and Leo talked excitedly about what they had learned. Leo asked questions about the Maya gods, their temples, and their daily life. Maria answered as best as she could, using the information she had learned from Dr. Raphael. She realized that this adventure was teaching both of them not just about history, but also about courage, curiosity, and responsibility. Over the next few days, Maria and Leo continued to explore the restaurant. While it had been abandoned for years, they began to notice small details they had missed before. There were hidden compartments in some walls, old drawings on the floor, and strange symbols etched into the beams. Maria wondered if the previous owner had known about the treasure, or if it had been forgotten for generations. Every discovery made the restaurant feel even more magical. One afternoon, while cleaning a storage closet, Leo found a small, rolled-up piece of parchment. He unrolled it carefully and showed it to Maria. It was a map with symbols similar to those on the treasure. Maria felt her heart beat faster. Could this map lead to more artifacts or hidden rooms in the restaurant? She decided to call Dr. Raphael to show him the map. Dr. Raphael examined the parchment closely. "This is very interesting," he said. "The symbols match some of the designs in your treasure. It could be a guide, or it might indicate a location where more artifacts were kept. You have to be careful, but this is an exciting clue." Maria nodded. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She knew they had to explore carefully, but the thought of uncovering more secrets made her heart race. The next morning, Maria and Leo began to follow the map. They compared the symbols to the walls, floors, and furniture in the restaurant. Step by step, they moved carefully, looking for hidden compartments or markings. Hours passed, but they were patient. Every corner they examined revealed small surprises like old coins, tiny clay figurines, and pieces of carved wood. Each discovery added to their sense of wonder. While exploring, Maria and Leo realized that the restaurant itself seemed to have been built with care and knowledge. The architects had designed secret spaces, hidden rooms, and clever compartments. Maria imagined the people who had created these spaces, thinking about how much thought and skill had gone into them. It made her respect the building even more. As evening approached, they found a small door hidden behind a shelf. It was almost invisible, blending perfectly with the wall. Maria carefully opened it and found a narrow room filled with dust and old crates. Inside were more artifacts, similar to the ones they had found in the chest. There were golden bracelets, small jade carvings, and pottery with intricate designs. Maria gasped. Leo whispered, "Mom, we really found another treasure." Maria realized that the abandoned restaurant had been hiding secrets for a long time. She felt grateful for the opportunity to uncover them and share them with the world in a responsible way. She knew that the treasure was more than gold and jewels. It was history, culture, and knowledge preserved for generations. She also knew that she had to protect it, not just for herself, but for everyone who wanted to learn from it. That night, Maria and Leo sat in the restaurant, looking at the artifacts carefully placed around the room. They talked about the Maya civilization, the people who had created the treasure, and the mysteries they had yet to uncover. Maria felt a deep sense of connection to history and to her son. She realized that their adventure had brought them closer together and had opened their minds to a world of wonder they had never imagined. Maria knew that the journey had only just begun. There were more secrets to uncover, more knowledge to gain, and more discoveries waiting for them. She felt determined to continue, knowing that they were part of something much bigger than themselves. She held Leo's hand and smiled, feeling hope, excitement, and a sense of responsibility. Their adventure was far from over, and they were ready to face it together. The days passed quickly, and Maria and Leo became more confident in exploring the restaurant. Every morning they arrived early carrying notebooks, cameras, and flashlights. The restaurant was no longer just a building to them. It had become a place full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Maria felt a sense of purpose she had never experienced before. She wanted to learn everything she could about the Maya treasure and share its story with the world responsibly. One morning, Dr. Raphael returned to the restaurant. He brought with him a young assistant named Sophia, who specialized in documenting ancient artifacts. Sophia had a sharp eye for details and a calm, patient manner that Maria admired. "We are going to study each piece carefully," Dr. Raphael said. "This will take time, but it is worth every moment." Maria nodded, feeling grateful for their help. Leo bounced with excitement. He loved learning and wanted to help in any way he could. Dr. Raphael and Sophia began by arranging the artifacts in groups. Coins were placed together, necklaces and bracelets in another section, and small statues in a separate area. Each artifact was photographed and measured. Every tiny detail was noted, from the shape and size to the carvings and colors. Maria watched carefully, learning from them. She realized that every object held a story, and every story connected to a much larger history. Leo was fascinated by a small golden mask. He held it gently, staring at the fine details. "Mom, look at this. It has a face and tiny decorations," he said. Maria smiled. "Yes, Leo. The Maya people were very skilled. They created these masks for special ceremonies. It shows how important these objects were to them." Leo nodded thoughtfully. He imagined the mask being worn in a grand celebration many centuries ago. While the experts studied the artifacts, Maria and Leo examined the restaurant for more clues. They returned to the hidden room they had discovered and carefully checked the crates and shelves. Among old papers, they found drawings of Maya temples and notes written in a language that neither of them could read. Maria took photographs of each paper, hoping that Dr. Raphael could help decode them later. In the evenings, Maria and Leo would sit together and review the day's discoveries. They talked about what the artifacts might mean, and tried to imagine the lives of the people who had created them. Leo drew pictures of temples and statues in his notebook, while Maria wrote down questions and ideas. They were not just discovering treasure, they were discovering history and knowledge. One afternoon, Dr. Raphael called Maria to his side. He had found something remarkable. "Look at this," he said, showing a piece of parchment. It had symbols similar to those on the treasure and the map they had found earlier. "This appears to be a record of the journey of these artifacts. It may tell us how they were hidden and why." Maria felt a shiver of excitement. Every new clue seemed to open another door to the past. Sophia suggested they examine the walls and floors for hidden compartments, using small tools to tap and listen for hollow spaces. Maria and Leo joined in carefully. After several hours, they discovered a narrow panel behind the main counter. Maria opened it slowly, revealing a small chamber filled with more objects. There were jars, clay figures, and tiny golden pieces. Leo's eyes sparkled. "Mom, it's like the restaurant is full of secrets waiting for us," he said. Maria nodded, feeling the same excitement. Dr. Raphael examined the new finds with great care. "These objects are very old," he said. "They may have been part of offerings or used in important ceremonies. Each piece gives us more information about the Maya civilization and the people who lived long ago. You and your son have found one of the most important collections in recent history." Maria felt proud but also humble. She realized that their discovery was not just about treasure. It was about history, culture, and knowledge. Over the next week, Maria, Leo, and the experts worked together to organize the artifacts and document everything carefully. Maria learned how to handle the objects, how to record their details, and how to keep them safe. Leo became very skilled at noticing patterns and matching symbols on the artifacts to drawings in the parchments. Together, they formed a small team, united by curiosity and respect for the past. One evening, after a long day of work, Maria and Leo sat quietly in the main hall. The restaurant was now filled with light and warmth, a contrast to the dusty, abandoned place it had been. They looked around at the treasures and notes carefully arranged on tables. Maria held Leo's hand. "Leo, we are learning so much, but there is still more to discover," she said. Leo nodded. "I know, Mom. I feel like we are explorers discovering a whole new world." The next morning, Dr. Raphael and Sophia suggested they study the parchments more carefully. Using magnifying glasses and light tables, they examined each line and symbol. Slowly, they began to understand the messages written by the Maya people. The parchments described important ceremonies, sacred places, and the journey of the artifacts over centuries. Maria listened in amazement. She had never imagined that the treasure would reveal so much about a civilization so long ago. Leo was especially fascinated by one story written in the parchments. It described a young Maya artist who created golden figures to honor the gods. The artist had hidden the treasures carefully so they would be protected for future generations. Leo asked, "Mom, do you think we are the ones who were meant to find them?" Maria smiled. "Perhaps, Leo. Sometimes history waits for the right people to discover it, to understand it, and protect it." With each day, Maria felt more connected to the Maya people and their world. She realized that the treasure was not just gold and jewels. It was knowledge, creativity, and human achievement preserved through time. She wanted to honor that history by learning as much as possible and sharing it responsibly. Leo shared her enthusiasm, asking questions, drawing pictures, and imagining the lives of the people who had created the treasure. One afternoon, while examining the hidden chamber again, Maria found an old diary tucked inside a small box. It was written on parchment with careful handwriting. She opened it and began to read aloud. The diary belonged to a Maya scribe who had recorded events, ceremonies, and important knowledge about the city and its people. Maria felt a chill of excitement. This diary could provide the most complete story about the artifacts they had found. Dr. Raphael carefully examined the diary and nodded. "This is remarkable," he said. "It provides context for the treasures, showing why they were created and why they were hidden. You have found not just objects, but a story that connects the past to the present." Maria felt a deep sense of responsibility. She knew they had to preserve every word, every drawing, and every artifact with the greatest care. That evening, Maria and Leo sat together, surrounded by photographs, drawings, and artifacts. They talked about the discoveries, imagining the people who had created them and the journey the objects had taken through time. Maria felt a mix of wonder, pride, and responsibility. She knew that their adventure was far from over, but she also knew that they were learning valuable lessons about history, respect, and curiosity. Maria looked at Leo and smiled. "Our journey is just beginning, Leo. There are more secrets to uncover, more stories to learn, and more history to preserve." Leo nodded enthusiastically. "I am ready, Mom. We will discover it all together." Maria held her son close, feeling a sense of hope and excitement she had never felt before. Their adventure was growing, and they were ready to face every new discovery with curiosity and care. Maria woke early with the sunlight streaming through the windows of the restaurant. The air was filled with the soft scent of cleaned wood and fresh paint. She stretched and looked around, feeling proud of the work she and Leo had done. The restaurant had changed so much since they first arrived. It was no longer abandoned and dusty. It felt alive, like a place full of stories and memories. But the greatest story, the one hidden in the treasure, still awaited them. Leo was already in the main hall, examining a golden bracelet with intricate designs. He held it carefully, studying the tiny patterns. "Mom, look at this. These designs are so detailed," he said. Maria smiled. "Yes, Leo, the Maya were very skilled. Every detail has meaning. We are learning so much about their culture." Leo nodded, imagining the people who had created the bracelet centuries ago. Maria had called Dr. Raphael and Sophia earlier. They agreed to meet at the restaurant that morning. The plan was to discuss how to study the treasure safely and decide what should be shared with the public. When they arrived, Dr. Raphael greeted Maria and Leo warmly. "I am very impressed with how organized everything is," he said. "You have done an excellent job protecting and documenting these artifacts." Maria thanked him, feeling proud. She knew the treasure was not just valuable for its gold and jewels, but for the history it contained. Sophia began examining the smaller artifacts while Dr. Raphael studied the parchments and the diary they had found. They were particularly interested in the map and symbols that Leo had discovered in the hidden chamber. Dr. Raphael explained that these symbols could lead to other locations where the Maya had hidden items or recorded information. Maria listened carefully, realizing that the restaurant might still hold more secrets than they had imagined. After a few hours, Dr. Raphael suggested they explore the restaurant more thoroughly. Maria and Leo eagerly agreed. They moved through the rooms with flashlights, checking every corner for hidden compartments or unusual markings. They found a small panel behind the old kitchen shelves. Maria opened it carefully and discovered a narrow passage leading to a room filled with clay pots and small carved figures. Each item was wrapped in cloth, as if someone had wanted to protect them for the future. Maria gasped at the sight. Leo's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Mom, there is so much here. I can't believe it," he said. Dr. Raphael examined the objects carefully. "These are offerings," he explained. "They were placed here to honor the gods and preserve important memories. You are seeing the culture and beliefs of the Maya in a very real way." Maria felt a deep sense of respect for the civilization. She realized that this treasure was not just gold and jewels. It was knowledge, history, and human creativity preserved through time. Over the next few days, Maria and Leo worked with Dr. Raphael and Sophia to carefully document every item. They measured, photographed, and recorded every detail. Maria learned how to handle the objects safely, and Leo helped by noting patterns and symbols. Each discovery revealed more about the Maya civilization. They learned about their ceremonies, their art, their beliefs, and the care with which they preserved their most important treasures. One afternoon, while reviewing the diary, Maria noticed an interesting note. It mentioned a special room where the Maya kept items of great importance. She showed it to Dr. Raphael. "This could be another hidden area in the restaurant," she said. Dr. Raphael nodded. "It is possible. The Maya were very careful about protecting their treasures. We should examine the building more closely." Maria and Leo agreed eagerly. They felt like true explorers, uncovering secrets from a long time ago. They spent the next morning examining the restaurant with renewed attention. Maria moved tables and shelves while Leo checked the walls and floors for unusual patterns. Behind a false wall in the main hall, they discovered a small wooden door. Maria opened it carefully, revealing a room filled with more golden objects, pottery, and carved figures. The room was small but packed with history. Each artifact seemed to tell a story, and Maria felt as if the past had come alive around her. Dr. Raphael examined the items carefully. "These objects are extraordinary," he said. "They show a combination of artistic skill and spiritual meaning. You and your son have discovered one of the most important collections in recent history. It is rare to find so many well-preserved artifacts together." Maria felt proud and honored. She realized that the restaurant, once abandoned and forgotten, had become a place of learning and discovery. While organizing the artifacts, Maria thought about the future. She wanted to share the story of the treasure with the world, but also protect it carefully. She discussed her ideas with Dr. Raphael. He suggested creating a display for a museum, along with detailed documentation of the artifacts and their history. Maria liked the idea. She wanted people to see the beauty and knowledge of the Maya civilization, not just the value of the treasure. Leo was excited about the plan. "We can tell people about the Maya, Mom. They should know how smart and creative they were," he said. Maria smiled at her son. "Yes, Leo, this is not just about treasure. It is about history, learning, and sharing knowledge with others." Leo nodded eagerly, feeling proud to be part of the discovery. Over the next week, Maria, Leo, Dr. Raphael, and Sophia worked tirelessly to prepare the artifacts for display. They cleaned and polished them carefully, documented every detail, and created labels explaining their significance. Maria learned about museum practices, how to protect artifacts, and how to share history in a way that people could understand and appreciate. Leo helped by drawing illustrations and writing descriptions in simple language for children. One evening, Maria and Leo sat together in the restaurant, looking at the treasures they had uncovered. The room was filled with golden objects, clay figures, and ancient parchments. Maria felt a sense of accomplishment and awe. "Leo, we have done something amazing," she said. "We are helping people learn about a civilization that existed a long time ago. We are keeping history alive." Leo smiled. "I know, Mom, this is the best adventure ever. I feel like we are part of history, too." Maria realized that the treasure had changed more than just their lives. It had brought them closer together, teaching them patience, responsibility, and respect for history. She felt grateful for every moment, every discovery, and every lesson they had learned. She knew that the adventure was far from over. The restaurant still held secrets, and the treasure still had stories waiting to be uncovered. Dr. Raphael suggested one final exploration of the restaurant. He wanted to make sure nothing had been missed. Maria and Leo agreed, eager to continue their adventure. They carefully checked every corner, every wall, and every floorboard. Behind an old counter, Leo discovered a small box hidden in a secret compartment. Inside were tiny golden charms shaped like animals and symbols. Maria gasped at the delicate craftsmanship. Dr. Raphael examined them and nodded. These charms were likely used for protection and guidance. They are rare and very meaningful. That night, Maria reflected on everything that had happened. She held Leo's hand and said, "Leo, we have found treasures, uncovered history, and learned so much. But the most important thing is that we are doing this together. We are explorers, students of history, and keepers of knowledge." Leo smiled and nodded. "Yes, Mom, we are a great team. I can't wait to see what we discover next." Maria looked around the restaurant and felt a sense of peace. The abandoned building that had once been empty and forgotten had become a place of discovery, learning, and wonder. She realized that life had a way of surprising people. Sometimes when you take a chance, follow your heart, and work hard, the impossible can become reality. She held Leo close, knowing that together they could face any challenge and uncover any mystery. Maria understood that their journey was just beginning. There were more treasures to study, more stories to learn, and more history to protect. But she felt ready. With courage, curiosity, and love for her son, she knew they could continue this incredible adventure. The restaurant was no longer just a building. It was a bridge to the past, a home for knowledge, and a place where history came alive. The morning sun shone through the tall windows of the restaurant, filling every corner with golden light. Maria and Leo walked slowly through the main hall, feeling a mixture of excitement and pride. Over the past weeks, they had transformed the abandoned building into a place full of life and history. Every artifact, every golden coin, and every parchment was carefully cataloged and displayed. The restaurant was no longer just a building. It was a bridge to the past and a home for knowledge. Dr. Raphael and Sophia arrived early, bringing the last set of tools to help examine the newest finds. They had discovered more artifacts hidden behind a false wall, including small carved figurines and delicate jewelry. Each item had its own story, and Maria felt grateful for the chance to preserve it. She realized that the treasure was not only valuable in terms of gold and jewels, but also in the knowledge it carried from centuries ago. "Today, we will prepare everything for the public presentation," Dr. Raphael said. Maria nodded. She understood the importance of sharing the discovery with people responsibly. Leo bounced with excitement. "I can help, Mom. I can show them the maps and drawings," he said. Maria smiled. She was proud of her son. He had grown so curious and knowledgeable, and he shared her enthusiasm for history. They spent the morning arranging the artifacts in chronological order. Small signs were placed beside each item, explaining its significance and origin. The parchments were carefully placed in protective cases, and photographs of the artifacts were added to provide context. Maria noticed how beautiful everything looked together. It was not just a collection of objects. It was a story waiting to be told. As they worked, Maria thought about the journey they had taken. From the moment she first saw the abandoned restaurant, her life had changed completely. She remembered the dusty floors, the broken chairs, and the feeling of curiosity that had led her to explore the building. She realized that sometimes, taking a chance and following your heart could lead to discoveries far beyond what you could imagine. Leo was especially excited about the interactive section they had prepared for children. He had drawn illustrations of the Maya temples and their gods, explaining how the artifacts were used in daily life and ceremonies. Children visiting the restaurant could see the illustrations, touch replica artifacts, and learn about the Maya civilization in a fun and engaging way. Maria watched him with pride, feeling that the treasure was teaching not just history but also curiosity, responsibility, and imagination. By midday, the restaurant was ready for the first group of visitors. Local historians, teachers, and families were invited to see the treasure and learn about its significance. Maria felt a flutter of nervousness. She wanted everything to go perfectly. As the first guests arrived, Leo guided them to the displays he had helped create. His excitement was contagious, and the visitors listened intently as he explained the history of the artifacts in simple words. Dr. Raphael gave a short speech about the Maya civilization, describing their culture, art, and achievements. He explained how Maria and Leo had discovered the treasure and documented it responsibly. Maria watched the audience, seeing their faces light up with wonder and amazement. It was a proud moment for her. She realized that their adventure had not only changed their lives but was now inspiring others to learn and explore. Throughout the day, visitors asked questions, took photographs, and marveled at the artifacts. Maria and Leo answered with care, sharing what they had learned from Dr. Raphael and Sophia. Children were especially fascinated by the golden masks and small figurines. They imagined stories of ancient ceremonies, of artists and craftsmen working carefully to create objects that would last for generations. Maria felt proud that they could share such knowledge with the next generation. In the afternoon, Dr. Raphael suggested a final examination of the hidden rooms. He wanted to make sure no detail had been overlooked. Maria and Leo agreed. They carefully checked each corner, every shelf, and every wall. Behind a small panel in the back of the storage room, they discovered a tiny box containing old beads and miniature clay sculptures. The items were small but finely crafted, showing the same skill and care as the larger artifacts. Maria held them gently, feeling a connection to the people who had created them so long ago. After documenting the last finds, Maria realized that the treasure had been fully uncovered. It was more than she had ever dreamed. She thought about how the abandoned restaurant had brought so many wonders into her life. It had given her a new purpose, a way to teach her son, and an opportunity to connect with history in a meaningful way. She felt grateful for every moment of their journey. That evening, after the visitors had left, Maria and Leo sat together in the main hall. The golden sunlight cast soft shadows on the walls, making the artifacts glow warmly. Maria held Leo's hand. "Leo, we have done something amazing. We have uncovered history, preserved it, and shared it with others. But the best part is that we did it together," she said. Leo smiled. "Yes, Mom. I feel like we are part of the story too. I will never forget this adventure." Maria thought about the future. She knew they had a responsibility to continue protecting the treasure and teaching others about it. She planned to work with local museums, schools, and historians to ensure the artifacts were preserved for generations. She wanted everyone to appreciate the wisdom, creativity, and beauty of the Maya civilization. Leo suggested creating a small workshop for children where they could learn about archaeology and history through hands-on activities. Maria loved the idea. She imagined children visiting the restaurant, exploring the hidden rooms, and learning to handle artifacts safely. The treasure was not just an object of value. It was a tool for education and inspiration. Over the next few weeks, Maria and Leo worked tirelessly to organize educational programs. They prepared workshops, guided tours, and interactive sessions. Dr. Raphael and Sophia helped train them in proper methods for teaching and handling artifacts. Maria realized that the treasure had given her life a new direction. She was no longer just a single mother struggling to make ends meet. She was a teacher, a historian, and a caretaker of history. Leo thrived in the new environment. He enjoyed guiding visitors, answering questions, and learning about the Maya civilization. He began keeping a personal journal, writing stories inspired by the artifacts and drawings. Maria watched him grow, feeling proud of his curiosity, intelligence, and enthusiasm. The treasure had not only changed their lives but had shaped Leo's future in ways she had never imagined. One evening, after a long day of workshops and tours, Maria and Leo sat quietly in the restaurant. They looked around at the artifacts, the displays, and the visitors' drawings. Maria felt a deep sense of satisfaction. She realized that the abandoned restaurant had brought them more than gold and jewels. It had brought them knowledge, curiosity, a stronger bond, and a purpose in life. Maria held Leo's hand and whispered, "Leo, our adventure started with a simple decision to explore an abandoned restaurant. Now we have discovered history, shared knowledge, and inspired others. I am proud of you, and I am proud of what we have done together." Leo smiled brightly. "I am proud too, Mom. I feel lucky to have found this treasure with you." The night fell softly over the town. Maria and Leo turned off the lights and locked the restaurant carefully. The artifacts were safe, the displays were ready for the next day, and the knowledge of the Maya civilization was now preserved for all who wanted to learn. Maria felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. She knew that the journey had been remarkable, full of surprises, discoveries, and lessons about courage, curiosity, and responsibility. Maria realized that life had a way of rewarding those who followed their hearts and embraced new challenges. The abandoned restaurant had seemed ordinary at first, but it had led her and Leo to an extraordinary adventure. She knew that the treasure would continue to teach them and inspire others for many years. The restaurant was no longer just a place to earn a living. It was a home for history, learning, and dreams. As they left the restaurant that night, Maria looked at the stars shining in the clear sky. She felt grateful for the journey, for the discoveries, and for the bond she shared with her son. She knew that no matter what the future held, they had experienced something magical, a story that would stay with them forever. Maria and Leo had begun their adventure searching for a new beginning. They had found so much more: history, knowledge, wonder, and a deeper connection with each other. The Maya treasure had changed their lives in ways they could never have imagined. It was a story of courage, discovery, and the power of curiosity, one that would continue to inspire them and everyone who learned about it. Maria smiled at Leo and said, "This is only the beginning of our journey, Leo. The treasure has many stories, and together we will uncover them all." Leo nodded, his eyes shining with excitement. "Yes, Mom, we will keep exploring, learning, and sharing. This is the best adventure ever." They walked home hand in hand, ready to face a future full of possibilities. The abandoned restaurant was no longer forgotten. It had become a place of discovery, learning, and inspiration. Maria knew that they had not only found treasure, but had also created a story that would live on forever.